Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And I don't think I have to convince most of my audience that harvest time is very near for Washington, D.C. and North America. The apocalyptic nature of the stories coming across the domestic news wires is almost too much to handle on a day-to-day basis. Some have said, Florida Maquis, you have a very strange group of topics that you talk about. Why don't you talk about something more important like, for example, the massive amount of U.S. farmland that's being purchased by the Chinese? Very soon they're going to control our entire food supply, and that's the end of that. Well, there's a solution to this problem, but the solution would absolutely blow people's minds, and it would completely shake up their worldview. You see, purchasing farmland is like purchasing anything else in a capitalist society. The purchase goes to the highest bidder. Well, there's another way of doing things. Newhouse leads bill to prohibit purchase of U.S. land by the Chinese Communist Party. In essence, government has stepped in here and controlled the free market and said who can and who can't and under what circumstances can this land be sold. But wait a minute, you know what this sounds like? It sounds like exactly what Hugo Chavez did way back when, trying to protect his country from the United States. See, he realized what had happened, and everybody called him destroyer and anti-capitalist and anti-free market and responsible for the collapse. All these lies about Hugo Chavez. And I have the article, I have the receipts to prove it. Now, this will show you clearly how much people do not pay attention to articles when they come from a certain side of the media, the side they agree with. They can literally lie right in front of you and nobody will pick up on it. Now, this story, and I'll see if I can get this on camera here. Story published, pay attention here, January 13, 2015, 11:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chavez threatens to nationalize milk farms unless owners, and you see they even mess up the wording here, unless owners refuse to sell domestically. What they meant to say here is unless the owners only sell domestically first, and then if they have leftovers sell to others, he's going to nationalize. They actually get it right in the article, but the date, January 13, 2015, Chavez had been dead almost 2 years at this point. Wait, what? Chavez died in 2013. But you see what Fox did here? Caracas, Venezuela. President Hugo Chavez threatened on Sunday to take over farms or milk plants if owners refuse to sell their milk for domestic consumption and instead seek higher profits abroad or from cheesemakers. Now, this is the big crime. There were people going without food and going hungry in Venezuela, and there were milk farms that were selling things to Colombia and to places where they could get better price for the milk. With the country recently facing milk shortages, Chavez said it's treason if farmers deny milk to Venezuelans while selling it across the border in Colombia or for gourmet cheeses. Quote, in that case, the farm must be expropriated, Chavez said, adding that the government could also take over milk plants and properties of beef producers. Quote, I'm putting you on alert. Chavez said, if there's a producer that refuses to sell the product and sells it at a higher price abroad, ministers, find me the proof so it can be expropriated. Addressing his cabinet, he said, if the army must be brought in, you bring in the army. Now, let's flip this around a little bit. Let's say Donald Trump gets reelected, and we have some type of a problem here, shortage of food. Now let's reread. President Donald Trump threatened on Sunday to take over farms or milk plants if owners refuse to sell their milk to the American people and instead seek higher profits abroad from China or Mexico or India. With the country recently facing milk shortages, Trump said it's treason if American farmers deny milk to the American people while selling it abroad in places like China and India where they can make more money. In that case, the farm must be expropriated by the U.S. government. Trump said, adding that the government could also take over milk plants and properties of beepers. I'm putting you on alert, Trump said. If there is a producer that refuses to sell to the American people and sells it at a higher price abroad, find me proof so it can be expropriated. If I have to bring in America's best army, I will bring in the army. It's the best. Everybody says so. Now, I know that was a very poor Trump imitation there, but do you see how that sounds a whole lot better now? Venezuela nationalizes cattle operations for the exact same reason. Now, real quick, before I forget, 5.5 minutes in, join us over at Patreon. I've got a personal story. The next video that I'm going to do over there is based on a personal story, and I think it's going to make a lot of you laugh. But the story will get you thinking about something specific that's commanded us in the Bible. And it'll really make you wonder about the difference between morality and what the 7 deadly sins really are and how it's going to apply in a grid down, power down, end of the world situation. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but it's only $1 per month, even less if you sign up for an entire year, fully refundable first 90 days. Now, I did this map a long time ago and versions of it, personal safety for Christians. And things have gone, at least since 2020, far better in the South than they have in the Midwest and the North, definitely than on the West Coast. Well, here's more proof. Walmart closing half its stores. Sorry about this. Walmart is closing half its stores in the third largest U.S. city, citing tens of millions in losses. As we looked for solutions, it became even more clear that for these stores, there was nothing leaders could do to help get us to the point where they would be profitable, the company said in a press release. Those stores lose tens of millions of dollars a year, and their annual loss has nearly doubled in just the last 5 years. The remaining 4 Chicago stores continue to face the same business difficulties, but we think this decision gives us the best chance to help keep them open and serving the community. Now, where are those dollars going to go? Where are those people going to go buy their groceries? Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said she was incredibly disappointed with the news of the closures. Didn't she just get replaced? Didn't she just get replaced? Now, Walmart closing half its stores, what a lot of people don't get is that most of your grocery bill is already paid by the government anyway before you even get into the grocery store. Not kidding. 40%. Let me see if I can find the right. Here it is. U.S. net farm income this year will jump 43% to $119 billion. This was right back around 2020. Direct government aid, accounting for 39% of net farm income, rose to a record $46.5 billion from $22.4 billion the previous year. Yes, you read that right. This year, farmers on net will derive almost 40% of their income directly from the U.S. government in the form of a subsidy. 40%. 40%. Now, if that isn't socialism, I don't know what is. But imagine now, where's all that money going to go? Where are those people going to go to get their stuff? It's got to go somewhere. It's the same thing with the story with Anheuser-Busch. They've lost $4 billion. $4 billion in market cap. Well, I don't think America just became a bunch of teetotalers and stopped drinking. That money went somewhere else, away from Anheuser-Busch products. So somebody else is cashing in on this. The question is, why aren't they reporting who? Worst financial crash in history coming this summer. They're talking about 80 to 90%. S&P to collapse by 86%. NASDAQ by 92%. Crypto market into a tailspin. He's talking about Bitcoin 3,000. He's saying Bitcoin might get as high as 69 before all this goes down to about 3,000 to 4,000. Which is exactly what Amazon and the dot-coms did. because there's something underneath with all the debt that nobody can sustain. But that debt is what sustains capitalism. That's what a lot of people do not get, is that you cannot have capitalism without debt. And it always has to be debt-based. Because you can't have the money be ahead of the supply. Because what does that call? What happens? We're looking at it right now. What happens when you have too many dollars chasing too few goods? What happened if at the end of every month, every single American had way more money than they needed? They'd go buy more stuff. Well, if you had an economy set up just to create what people needed and not much more, then you'd have to find bigger supply chains. And you would have to plan for more and plan for more and plan for more. But then the more people bought, the more that stimulated economic activity, and you'd have runaway inflation. So to do that, you have to keep people in debt. To maintain that system, what you have to do is you have to have people buying stuff on credit cards and charging them interest so that the excess money, has someplace to go. Right back into the system. And this is the problem, is that now the wave has gotten way too big, the debt bubble has gotten way too big, and kaboom. See, this idea of just having what you need, that's gone by the wayside in this country a long time ago. More and more and more. Wasn't there a song out? What was the song? What was the song, Christians? I'd rather be in the palm of your hand. Just a little bit more is all I would need till life was torn from me. I'd rather be in the palm of your hand. Though rich or poor I may be, faith can see right through the circumstance, sees the forest in spite of the trees. Your faith provides, your grace provides for me. Sorry, I was having to think that one up right out of the top of my head there, but this idea is going to be something that strikes people the wrong way. How can we prevent those with the most money, if we don't like them, from succeeding? Because if they have the money and they're willing to purchase, isn't that what capitalism says? Sell to the highest bidder. But that's a national security. Okay, it's a national security thing. I get that. I'm with you. I agree. So then what do you do to protect yourself? The only way to do it is nationalization. And you've got to become socialist. This whole idea of buy American for simply the fact that it's made in America is about as socialist as it gets. But there was a time when this country didn't worry about isms so much, and they worried about what was right. So that's one of those soul-searching things. See, Chavez was trying to protect his country. And that's why he was labeled anti-capitalist. And he said, fine, I'm okay with being anti-capitalist if it protects my country from the United States and Great Britain. If that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. If we have people here that are hungry and people here that need milk, and our milk producers, in the name of capitalism, are taking that milk and shipping it to other countries because they can make more money, while people here are going without, that's not right. Well, you see, when that was Venezuela, that was, oh, yeah, you see, that just doesn't work. Well, now it's going to be America, kids. Now it's going to be America. And when we run out of money, run out of food, run out of things, there are going to be people demanding the U.S. government step in and do something. And seize the free markets and say, American grain for Americans first. You see, there used to be a ban on exporting oil in North America up until 2015. The idea of American oil for Americans first. Guess who put that into place? Jimmy Carter, 1975. And Big Oil hated it because it was anti-capitalist, because they wanted to sell the oil overseas and make a lot more money. And when that didn't work out, they just tried to go steal Venezuela's oil to sell that. So it all comes back to sowing what you reap. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Have a happy Wednesday. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.